Religious leaders have implored Azimio leader Raila Odinga to call off the planned protests and give room for dialogue to cool down the rising political temperatures in the country. The clergy say they have initiated dialogue between the opposing factions in a bid to avert the political unrest that has gripped the country. And as Mary Muoki reports, the various groups have added their calls for the opposition to halt the anti-government protests.
Hours before the three-day planned protest by the opposition kick off, the country is literally on edge. Religious leaders have added their voice to the rising clarion calls for political truce and asked the two opposing factions to stop beating the drums of war. Clergy drawn from different denominations say they have made attempts to bring President William Ruto and his nemesis Raila Odinga to the negotiating table.
With utmost humility, we address the current crisis that has led to intended demonstrations, and we extend our heartfelt appeal to all Kenyans to stand united in a spirit of reconciliation and hope. We have taken it upon ourselves to mediate between the two sides involved in the current impasse. Our efforts have been underpinned by a deep sense of responsibility towards the well-being of our beloved country, Kenya.
We feel it is in the interest of the nation and the security of every Kenyan that this demonstration should be called off. At the same time, we are saying it is the right of the people who have called these demonstrations to be given the opportunity to sit down with the other side and we find a peaceful way to address those issues.
The things that we are facing in this country, the mandamanos, the protests and all that they will not continue for long because they affect the business in a huge way, the damage, the fear of going to work. So we are praying in this training that these issues will be resolved.
The Maendeleo ya Wanawake has also called on President William Ruto and Azimio leader Raila Odinga to drop their hardline stances and put the interest of the nation first to spare the country from the bloodletting and destruction witnessed in last week's anti-government protest. The organization says the concerns raised by Kenyans about the increased cost of living are legitimate and warrant a sober response from the government.
The current phase we find ourselves in as a country is deeply worrying. So as custodians of the family, we implore you and His Excellency, the former Prime Minister, to have a talk that will cool down the political temperatures. For tomorrow's demonstrations, for the next 3 days, have worried all of us. We hear you, sir. Your voice is influential, Baba. And we firmly believe that Kenyans will listen to you even with or without demonstrations.
In the same vein, the Kenya Tourism Federation has expressed concern over the political temperatures in the country, saying the recent demonstrations risk rolling back post-COVID recovery efforts in the sector. The Federation adds that as a result of the recent demonstrations and civil disobedience, the country risks losing billions of shillings due to massive cancellations by potential international tourists who are scheduled to visit the country during the ongoing high season, to the benefit of Kenya's competing neighbors. The Federation further pleads that we are appealing for alternative solutions to issues so as to maintain calm and avert any violent confrontations that are projecting the country's brand negatively on the global front, which may result to negative travel advisories. Mary Muoki, Citizen TV.
So many developments just this